Wow, what are all this? Calcium, magnesium, zinc? What is?
They look like supplements, but I've never seen them before. And especially this one, bee pollen. I wish we had an expert who can help us decipher what all these things mean.
Luckily for us, we have an expert in the house, and she's none other than Dr. Tan. So, Dr. Tan, could you tell us a bit more about yourself?
Hello everyone, I am Yong Lan. I'm currently a lecturer at the NUS Salisbury Hawk School of Public Health. My primary discipline is actually in pharmacy, so I have been a practicing pharmacist for several years and currently still staying active in the field. Yeah, so nice to meet all of you.
Nice to meet you. So, just now you were talking about some of the supplements, right? Could you briefly explain to us, what these are and what they are for?
Okay, sure. Okay, let's go through one by one. This is bee pollen plus. Okay, so in the market, there are actually different kinds of bee products. The common ones you probably heard is honey, right? But beyond that, there is also like bee propolis, and then this one is bee pollen. So different bee products, they have different functions. From my understanding, in general, they are more of antibacterial, antioxidant, so it's very good in managing inflammatory conditions. For example, if you have sudden sore throat and then you want to go for a natural product, then this is something that you can try. Definitely, supplements are not medications, so it will take a longer time than medications to soothe your symptoms. Okay, next one. This one is a multivitamin. Most consumers, if they are going to buy multivitamin, it is just meant to boost and maintain your normal health. Just to supplement your diet in case sometimes we may wish to take unhealthy food from time to time, then you might not reach the nutritional requirements expected on a daily basis. So taking supplements will help. Okay, next one, vitamin D3. This is really highly potent. It says 5,000 units. So different vitamins, they do have different way of measuring the amount. Some of them they use by grams and milligram. Vitamin D3 specifically, they use this IU units. Typically, we don't take such a high amount. That's why they specifically indicated this as high potency. If you see these kind of words on the label, it is best to check with the healthcare professional if you do need such a high content of specific vitamins. So typically for high potency, it is recommended more for consumers who have gone through a medical check and specifically having deficient in specific vitamins or minerals, then that's when healthcare professionals, they will recommend for you to take something of a higher potency so that you get to replenish the specific vitamins or minerals in your body more quickly. Okay, next. This one is specifically just containing calcium, magnesium, and zinc. So usually if they have specific elements or minerals in it, it tends to contain a higher amount as compared to multivitamin. So you can imagine that in the same tablet, right, you cannot be putting so much of everything. So in multivitamin, they contain a larger composition of different elements, then you will expect that specific elements will be smaller in proportion. So that's why supplements that specifically contain specific minerals or vitamins, usually it is meant to achieve a specific function. For example, in this case, calcium, magnesium, and zinc combination is actually good for muscles and bones and nerve. So if they have issues related to these, for example, middle-aged adults, maybe sometimes they might start to feel that the bones and muscles are not working well, they start to show symptoms, maybe sometimes joint pain or whatnot, then that's when they will look for specific concoctions like this.
Actually, I noticed that this supplement bottle and some others have supplement facts and has this value called the percentage daily value. I'm not sure if it can be seen. Yeah, but what does this actually mean? And is it helpful for our intake?
If you notice, not all the supplements contain this percentage daily value. But for those that actually presents it, what does it mean? Maybe we can start off by breaking down this term. What exactly is daily value, right? So daily value is actually referring to the recommended daily intake of a particular vitamin or mineral for the body in order to sustain its daily function. Yeah, so percentage daily value for, let's say, for example, a particular supplement, right? It is indicating that for the amount stated for that particular vitamin or mineral, right, in that one serving, whether it is one capsule or one tablet, right, to what extent does it satisfy the recommended daily intake? So for example, if it is less than 100%, it means to say that it is literally just to supplement your diet, but you will still need to consume food that is rich in that particular vitamins or minerals in order to hit your daily necessity. Yeah.
So are there supplements that have like 100% daily value?
Yes, of course, right? So that is meant for, I would say, a specific population. I'll give you an example. Elderly or for patients who cannot have oral intake, right? That means they maybe has got something got to do with the swallowing issues, and then they have to depend on drinking milk products. Usually that kind of milk products, they will they will bulk it up with more nutrients, more vitamins and minerals, so that you can just solely dependent on that one milk product to satisfy the daily intake requirement. Yeah, so or otherwise it is more for individuals who you know that you will not have the possibility to take different food. Maybe you are more picky or whatnot, right? Then that's when you can go for brands that do provide 100% and above. Right, so it really depends on your dietary preference and then your lifestyle. Yeah, so that's why different brands, they offer different formulations to suit the needs of different individuals.
Then what if like I take more than what is recommended for my daily value?
Okay, honestly speaking, even if you exceed the recommended daily value, you still need to look at another indicator, which is like the upper limit, or they call it the maximum allowable intake. Right, so only when you exceed the maximum allowable intake, then that's when we may be more worried on what are the consequences, such as adverse health effects. But there's usually a buffer zone between recommended daily intake as well as maximum daily allowable intake. Why is there a buffer zone? Because recommended daily intake is for individuals who are in generally healthy, but there is this buffer zone to cater to those who might be in a deficient state. So then they are able to take more than the recommended daily intake so that they can, like what I've mentioned earlier, so that they can quickly replenish the contents within the body within a shorter span of time. But usually if you intend to take above the daily intake, it is best to be under medical supervision so that they can recommend what is that buffer zone.
I think that actually it's very interesting, but how do I know what supplement I need like for my daily activity? Assuming that me and most of other students are like generally healthy, and supplements can probably help us in our daily function. But how do we know which supplements we should take more of?
Yeah, this is a good question. That's why most healthy individuals, they will just go for the multivitamins because they might not have the knowledge, or they might not be keeping track of the food and what is the daily nutrition that they are having from the usual diet. So because of that, all they need to do is just to supplement with a multivitamin. They should fall in that requirement of in terms of the daily nutrition. Yeah, so usually, like I say, only upon most of the time, because you do go for a medical checkup, you realize that you are deficient in certain nutrients, then that's when they will recommend you to take a specific vitamin or mineral at high quantity. Or otherwise, sometimes if you start to show signs and symptoms of like a problem, then you will start to think, is it related to deficiency? Or what can I do to boost my general health? Then you will move towards that direction. Perhaps, let's say, for example, maybe there is a flu bug going around and then you just want to boost your general immune system, then you will look for the specific product that might better boost your system, such as vitamin C, zinc combination.
So, other than these supplements that we just covered, right, what other supplements do students usually take?
Maybe we can zoom out from students, just talking about young adults in general. One of the common products that they often buy from retail pharmacies is also this thing called the melatonin. I'm not sure whether you heard it before.
I think some of my friends also take that.
Yeah, correct. So melatonin, actually, it is a natural hormone found in a human body. So everybody has it, right? And what it does is that it helps to regulate the day and night cycle, or we can simply say your sleep-wake cycle. So in the nighttime, when we are going to fall asleep, that's when your melatonin level is high. So when the melatonin level is high, it will signal your body to make you feel sleepy. That's when you feel drowsy and then you just knock out. Right, and then in the daytime, melatonin levels will drop, and then that's when it signals your body, oh, it's daytime now, you need to stay awake. Yeah. So when will young adults go for melatonin? I think common situations is if they have disruption in their sleep cycle. For example, they go overseas and then there is a jet lag. And then they find it difficult to sleep because your body still takes the daytime as the nighttime and then the nighttime as the daytime because of like maybe more than 8 hours or 12 hours time difference. Yeah, so then that's when you need to readjust your sleep cycle. So you will pop your melatonin pills at the time at your bedtime. So you pop it at your bedtime just before, about 5 minutes before you go to sleep, right? It boosts and causes a surge in the melatonin levels in your body, so you feel sleepy and then you fall asleep. So you take it for a few days, it helps you to readjust your sleep cycle, and then you will find it more easily adaptable to the new time zone difference. Yeah. So another situation when people will take it is when they have difficulty falling asleep at their usual sleeping time. But most of the time, it is related to their own lifestyle. For example, if you keep using your phone just at bedtime, just before you sleep, you find your body takes it that you are still working. So it doesn't signal your body to produce melatonin to make you fall asleep. Yeah. So in this kind of situation, you might need some help from supplements, right? So then that's when they will take melatonin, and then again, it raises the melatonin levels in your blood, and then that's when you will get knocked out easily. So, but do be cautioned that you have to take it at bedtime because it helps you to adjust your sleep-wake cycle. So if you take it like as and when you feel like sleeping, it disrupts that cycle, and you find it very difficult to sleep at your normal bedtime. Yeah, so that's the difference. So just a word of caution, it is not the same as all those like sedatives or sleeping pills. So it should not be taken as and when. It should only be taken at bedtime just for the purpose of regulating your sleep cycle. Yeah.
Then for like young students, right, or like young adults, if at night we take melatonin, then in the daytime when we need energy, is there any supplement that could work for that?
Okay, commonly the one that pharmacists will recommend to cause like this boost in energy. By right, it should be taking vitamin B complex. So if you go to a pharmacy store and you ask for vitamin B complex, they will give you this complex, which means to say it contains a few vitamin B combinations like vitamin B1, 2, 3, and 6. Right. So within this combination, vitamin B3 is the one that will increase your alertness and make you more awake. But I heard that nowadays there is this thing called the caffeine pills.
I've definitely heard of it lah. Like it exists, and I know a lot of my friends drink a lot of coffee. So I was also wondering if like caffeine pills are like a good substitute, so you don't have to like chug down like cups of coffee. But I've heard of it, but I'm not sure if it's really a supplement or how it's used.
Oh, okay, good question. Yeah, so this is a good question because you talk about sometimes people are unaware that the food and beverages that they take, they might contain caffeine and they are at the same time taking caffeine pills. Then this is when they go in, they run the risk of taking too much caffeine, right? So we all understand that one effect of caffeine is that it perks you up, right? It keeps you stimulated in the daytime or at least for a few hours after you drink or taken that pill, right? But the problem comes when you're taking it for a long period of time, for a chronic period. Right? So if you take it for a chronic period, imagine every time you take it, especially at a high dose, it stimulates you. And then so it keeps you awake, it increases your heart rate, right? So blood flow is much more efficient. But when the effect wears off, then that's when your heart rate slows down and then you feel lack of energy. So if this keeps on going on for a very long period of time, number one is dependence, right? You get dependent on the substance such that your body cannot function, do not know when to keep you stimulated and when not to. It has to be very dependent on caffeine consumption as a signal to perk you up. The second thing that we worry is that in the long run, it can actually increase the risk of heart disease or increase the risk of like irregular heart rate or heart rhythm because of how it keeps you stimulated. And then after the effect wears off, and then your heart rate slows down and everything. So over time, it can lead to irregularity in your heart function.
That's very scary to hear because I take coffee like every morning and then sometimes like I take at 7 a.m. then I take one more at 10 a.m.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
So
no.
yeah, so I mean, occasionally I do that as well, right? But it's very hard for you to actually hit that. I would say the maximum threshold, and sometimes the threshold do change from individual to individual because of how your body becomes dependent on the substance, and then over time it recalibrates what is that maximum threshold allowable. Yeah, so I would say you can still drink coffee, but if you want to go for espresso, right, and then or maybe like a double dose, then yeah, be more cautious about it. Yeah.
Just like overdosing on caffeine, are there other instances where supplements can actually cause more harm than good?
Another good question. Just to share regarding supplements regulations so that everyone is more aware, maybe looking at the Singapore market, right? Most people can become complacent thinking that things that you buy off the shelf must be regulated. So it must definitely be safe to take as long as you maybe follow the label instructions. Now, I just want to correct this misconception that supplements are not regulated the same way as medications, right? While supplements, they are regulated under the Health Sciences Authority, which is the regulatory authority in Singapore that manages medical products in general or therapeutic products in general. But the kind of stringency differs between regulating medications and regulating supplements. In fact, for supplements, they are much less regulated, which means to say that they do not require a pre-market approval. What do I mean by a pre-market approval? Now, if you want to bring in a medication to sell in Singapore, you actually need license to import, to manufacture, or to sell it, right? And if you need to sell it, the store should also hold a license that allows you to sell it. But this is different from supplements, right? Anyone can import or produce supplements, and they can easily sell it without the need for any licensing requirements, right? So all the regulatory authority offer is to provide a guideline that the dealers or the manufacturers, they should comply with, but the regulatory authority do not actively check on compliance. So it is the onus of the dealers, the sellers, right, to ensure the safety and quality of the product. So there are instances, sometimes we refer to newspapers, and then there are some instances whereby, hey, this product was adulterated with certain steroids or with certain medicinal substances, right? So these are discovered by post-marketing surveillance, right? When people take the product and they face some issues, whether adverse side effects, and then they actively report to the regulatory authority. That is when the Health Sciences Authority, they will then conduct an investigation. So in this way, that's when they will discover that there are items sold in the market that may not comply with the guidelines provided. Okay, even though after discovery, they do have the power and authority to ask the sellers and dealers to remove this from the market, but we have to be cautious that there are or might have been a group of consumers who may be affected by the product already. So that's why do not just assume that products sold in the market for supplements must be safe, especially for brands that maybe you might be first time seeing this and then sold online, not even having a physical store, or you are just hearsay that, oh, this is going to be effective. So for products that you find it, especially working at a very rapid rate for certain individuals, be more cautious, because again, supplements are not medication, so they are not meant to treat or cure a disease, right? If it is helping your medical condition to a large extent, it might point towards something else that you might want to get your products tested, or at least speak to a medical professional to see if there's anything wrong with the product or whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, I think actually that's very true because I've been seeing like news reports or like case studies that my lecturer has been like pointing out that, like, for example, there was this probiotic that they eat, but then afterwards when they brought it to a doctor, right, they found out that inside that probiotic product there wasn't even the active bacteria strain. Yeah, so it's like
Oh.
there's a lot of scams out there. So I guess like what you say, we have to be very careful of what we eat.
Yeah.
Because we might not think that it's harmful, but it's harmful like even like from the manufacturer like at that stage already.
Yeah, definitely. So, maybe just to share another point extending from yours is that the bottom line for the regulatory authorities when it comes to regulating supplements is on the safety aspect, not on the efficacy aspect. So, this is different from medications whereby they need to undergo clinical trial and make sure that to some extent it is efficacious, right? But this one, no. So as long as it doesn't cause harm, right? Even yeah, so that there are cases whereby you do have malicious manufacturers whereby they are not producing something according to what they declared on the labels. But again, it can be ineffective, but you cannot fault them in terms because in terms of safety wise, it's not going to cause any harmful effects, right? So all you can fault them is that okay, it's different from what you presented on the labels, but if they are going to correct the product, right, in terms of the active ingredient amount and all that, then there is still a chance that the product can continue to be sold in the market.
So, in the commercial supplement market, what are some marketing strategies that are commonly used?
Oh, okay. There is a wide range of marketing strategies, but I think the one that is most non-ethical is to make claims that the supplement can be used to treat, cure, or prevent a disease. So actually, this is not allowed by the law. They are not allowed to make this kind of medical claims with regards to specific medical conditions, right? So again, going back to the basics, supplements are only meant to supplement your diet with regards to ensuring that you meet the daily requirements of specific vitamins and minerals for your body to function, right? So it doesn't help in any way to cure or treat a medical condition. Yeah, so, but the issue is that, sometimes you go to look for supplements because you have an intention in mind, right? Maybe because you are suffering from a condition and then you hope to look for alternatives in addition to what doctors can offer. So when you have this kind of impression in mind and you visit a store, maybe a physical store, and sales assistant respond to your query in a positive way, then that's when you feel that, oh, okay, then how about you can give this a try, right? Then that's when it would deepen that misunderstanding that, oh, this is going to be more effective than medications and perhaps even working within like a week or a month or so, right? So this kind of misconceptions is especially dangerous because it can cause some individuals to potentially skip the medications, right? When the medication is supposed to be the one managing the condition, while supplements are used to just supplement, boost your general health. But now, this misconception makes people tilt the entire balance and think it the opposite way. So I think that's the most dangerous part of it.
So, how do you make people and particularly students not be misled by these marketing strategies?
Yeah. So I think the main key message that I want to drive across is that when it is too good to be true, stop and think. And double check the information, right? Even with regards to double checking information, I think it is a very common thing nowadays whereby we take out our phones and then we just Google the information to check if things that are presented on the labels or on the advertisement, whether it matches with information presented right online. Now, then this also again poses another risk whereby you can be misled by the information presented online, even if you are using general internet platform or you're using generative AI to generate quick answers. Why? Because the issue is that the internet is compiling information and sources information from different sources. Some of them are indeed legitimate sources, especially if it's from official government websites or from specific curated medical databases. But at the same time, they can also contain information from unofficial sources, tertiary sources that they might present information in a manner that is meant to achieve a certain outcome, right? Whether it is to boost the sales of their products or etc. So when all this information are compiled together in the internet and maybe it pops up in the first few search results, then there is a chance that people might be misled by the information online. So I think the safest way is that if you pop into a retail pharmacy, you can always speak to a retail pharmacist to check whether you have regarding any concerns that you have on a product, especially if you feel that, hey, how come this is useful for a particular medical condition? Is it true? Right? It's best to check with the experts, the medical professionals. Yeah.
Then maybe just a follow-up question, right? For like the regular over-the-counter kind of supplements, right? Like let's say like fish oil or like
Yeah.
this kind of thing. How do we know, like let's say if they all publicize themselves as like, oh, the best, like
Yeah.
what are the indicators to know that, okay, maybe one of them is actually better than the other?
Yeah, I wouldn't say one brand might be better than the other, assuming that all of them fulfill the same good manufacturing practice, they're producing products of good quality, then it is just a brand preference. It's just like how you might prefer KFC over Wingstop, this kind of thing, right? It's just a brand preference. I usually recommend my consumers, if you have any price point or affordability issues, go for the cheap ones. As long as it meets your daily requirements for the particular vitamins and minerals, just go for the cheap alternative. Yeah, there's no need to go for a branded one. But sometimes people have the impression that because it is branded, the brand is, you heard it from various platforms, then you feel that as a reputable brand, they might be more likely to comply to good manufacturing practice. Then sure, if you are able to afford that, why not?
So other than retail pharmacy, right, there's also a lot of drugs being sold like through word of mouth or network. So Dr. Tan, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so I think you're referring to this thing called the multi-level marketing. It's actually very common for sale of supplements. In order to keep the cost low and maximize profits, it is becoming a very common marketing tactic that a lot of shops employ, or even selling it online via Shopee or like lifestyle platforms.
Yeah, so like what are the dangers of this kind of products sold through MLMs, if there are any?
Okay, so I would say if we look objectively at the product itself, okay, bear in mind that whether they are sold through MLM or via physical store, they are still undergoing the same level of loose regulation, right? So the same words of advice will apply, right? Be more cautious to make sure that the products that you're taking are indeed legitimate for whatever that they declared on the label. But beyond that, I think one concern that we have with respect to MLM is that you are buying from your social network, right? People whom are within this multi-level marketing. Now, these people can be your close friends, your colleagues, your relatives, but they may not have gone through proper training. They may not fully understand what are the different products, what it serves, and then what are the effects following consumption of the different products. So sometimes the way they communicate to you might not be professional. It can be misleading. Sometimes the words they use, right, telling you how effective it is on them, right, it may give you the false impression that, oh, the product is working, you need to give it a try. While it is harmless to be taking supplements because most supplements are generally safe unless they are potentially adulterated, but the issue comes in with your false impression on how what the supplements are for and then how they are actually functioning. Yeah, so and the another thing is also because it is multi-level marketing, there are so many tiers of marketers that sometimes you cannot locate who is the one that should be held liable if you have a true inquiry, right? And then who should you look for in case of any issues after taking the product?
Thank you, listeners, for tuning in into another episode of Heart to Health Talk. And thank you, Dr. Tan, for providing us all these insights on supplements.
If you like this episode, leave us a like and share with your friends. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify at Heart to Health Talk to stay updated. See you at our next episode.